Hey, today is a beautiful October 20th, 2022. I'm in the great state of Pennsylvania. How I love this state. Just past Portland, Pennsylvania, driving on Pennsylvania Route 611, a road named after a steam engine. Gonna check out the four colors on this road. This road goes through the Delaware Water Gap. We're on the Pennsylvania side. Delaware River's to the right of me, and New Jersey's on the other side. We're paralleling the Delaware Lackawanna Railroad, the old DL&W. As we enter the water gap area here. See how the leaves look. Pristine sunny day. Should have pristine weather today and tomorrow. We haven't really entered the gap area yet, but we will. Those ridges in the background are part of it. Good to see it. Gorgeous day. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the old telegraph poles of the old Lackawanna Railroad on the right in the woods. Yeah, nice color. So the water gap are coming up here. And you can see those telegraph poles from the old Delaware Lackawanna and Western. Now the Delaware Lackawanna. Right here is where we enter the pretty part of the gap. Nice color. Glistens in the sun. For campers, hikers, got to be in pretty good shape to hike around here. These hiking paths go straight up virtually. Yeah, we're getting into the heart of the gap here. You'll be able to see it. The high cliffs on the right there. Those cliffs over on the right are in New Jersey. The Delaware River's between me and it. This is Point of Gap Overlook right here on the left. All the while we're paralleling the old Delaware Lackawanna and Western. I gotta be careful through here. What color? Beautiful. Yeah. Love this time of year. Love October. Love the foliage. It's fleeting. It only comes for a short time of the year, but when it comes, you got to enjoy it to the fullest. From what I've seen on foliage cams, the leaves are really looking good out on this neck of the Poconos. I'm going to head to Jim Thorpe today You know, rail fan, the Jim Thorpe Scenic Railroad, hope to ride the train through the gorge, get some trains hiking on the gorge, and get the NRFF after the last gorge train passes the junction. This is Resort Point Overlook. Leaving Delaware Water Gap Recreation Area. And right around here, we're going to come down and enter the little village of Delaware Water Gap, Pennsylvania. It's a quaint village. Gotta slow down. It's a very quaint village. It has inns, nice old homes, shops. Nice color. You can shop for vegetables. There's vegetable stands here, fruit stands. The 611 goes straight. We're going to turn here and head down toward the Pennsylvania Welcome Center and get back on I-80. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Here on Interstate 80, we're climbing up to Pocono Summit here. The foliage is getting even better with the altitude. Pocono Summit reaches about 2,000 feet, roughly, give or take. Yeah, look at that color. Coming up to Interstate 380, where you go to Scranton, but I'm not heading that way. I'm continuing on 80 to the Blakesley exit. On Pennsylvania Route 903, we're descending into the Lehigh River Valley, into Jim Thorpe, and you can see all this beautiful foliage on this road. Oh boy. I noticed when I was around the 2,000 foot elevation at the top of the summit, the foliage wasn't quite so good, but it's all about altitude. The lower it is, the better the foliage is. At the high altitudes, it's not that good. But here it's still quite good, as you can see. Jim Thorpe, been here quite a few times this year. I was here for 2 Reading and Northern 2102 fan trips, and here I'm just mainly for leaf peeping and see the Lehigh Gorge train, and I like to ride on the train today too. And then hike into the gorge and get the tourist trains and the NRFF freight train. Steep grade in the Jim Thorpe, next couple of miles. That's really pretty, gorgeous. Autumn foliage in the Poconos, can't beat it. This world. Well, here we are in the scenic town of Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. call it the second most attractive village in the USA. There may be other contestants, but I would put it up there in the top 10, no doubt about it. Steeple is the old Jersey Central passenger station, which is used by the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway. What a gorgeous day. All right, 11:55, backing into the station here is the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railroad train. Caboose first. Power is usually anything on the Reading and Northern. Most likely today a GP 38-2. Well, these are former Reading Company MUs. That's a P5. This is downtown Jim Thorpe, clock tower. This tower was originally named Mauch Chunk. Renamed Jim Thorpe to honor a former Olympic athlete who won many medals. And across the way, that building is Molly McGuire's Irish Pub. We're in the town square by the train depot. As you can see, the foliage is absolutely brilliant. Rather nippy today. It's in the upper 40s, but can't complain about the sunshine. Well, today I'm going to brave it out with a lot of other people. Going to ride the 1 o'clock's Lehigh Gorge train in the open air car. Those are the only cars available today. Kind of cold, but the last train had hundreds of people riding on it, so if they can handle it, I can handle it. Main Street. This is an extremely popular town in Pennsylvania. Just to give you an idea how popular it is, today's Thursday, and I had to park all the way at the far end of the parking lot along the river. A Thursday. Shouldn't people be at work on Thursday? Shame on them playing hooky. I never did such things. That's ridiculous. Absurd. Blasphemous. Imagine what this place would be like on a Saturday. Jeez. That mountain in the background, which looks like a gigantic wave, is Flagstaff Mountain. The road is Route 209. It heads over to Lehigh. Yeah, we're on board the open air car. You get a real first-hand outdoor experience on a scenic ride. Okay, leaving town. I think you heard, I think that's a P5 horn or something. Not a very good chord.
And we will now begin our journey into the Lehigh Gorge.
Locomotive pulling us is GP 38-2 2013, former Norfolk Southern.
to the public in 2016 after replacing the former motorman bridge. The current bridge is nearly 1,000 feet long, sits approximately 100 feet above the Lehigh River, and each visitor can enjoy memorial on the other end of the pond and beyond that into the Pocono. To your left, you will see the Jim Thorpe Railroad in our birthday, which is used during our popular steam excursions to turn steam locomotive face the opposite direction.
See some equipment, some more former Reading MU cars here.
To the right of the train, you will see the popular P&L Trail. This hiking and biking trail, created by the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor, runs 165 miles from the city of Wilkes-Barre to Richmond, Virginia. During the summer months, thousands of visitors enjoy the trail, which winds gently from the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railroad to the Lehigh River. Keep your eyes open during the summer. There's a variety of snakes, including rattlesnakes, black snakes, copperheads, and a little just slither over the trail right now.
Listen to that Jeep working. Gonna hike a long way down here. Goes right into the gorge.
If we were to follow the left track, we would travel to the towns of Pocono, Tamaqua, and Reading, crossing over the hometown high bridge. The track we will travel on leads us to the Reading and Northern State Line and into the entrance of Lehigh Gorge State Park. Soon to the left of the train will be the abandoned PQ switch tower that was the control site for trains traveling through the junction until April 1972.
Got a long train and he's loaded.
As we prepare to head into the Lehigh Gorge State Park, you will see a bridge to the left of the train. This bridge, which connects Reading and Northern's Reading and Lehigh Division, was constructed by the railroad to expedite moves between Reading and Scranton. It officially opened for rail traffic on February the 4th, 2020. The bridge we will now go on spans the Lehigh River and provides a connection for both rail and pedestrians between Jim Thorpe and Lehigh Gorge State Park. Looking left, you will see the new bridge and the Lehigh River, while looking right, you will get a brief view of East Jim Thorpe. And looking down, it is a mere 84 feet to the river. The next bridge we will pass over is the Coalport Bridge, which crosses the former Lehigh Valley Railroad, once owned by Hayes and Packard. It passes over the Reading and Northern Lehigh Bridge.
That bridge you see over there was built fairly new. It allows the NRFF freight train to go from Reading Outer to Pittston without going through Jim Thorpe. The G38 is going to accelerate here and go pretty fast.
Soon the area to the left of the train will lead you to Pocono Falls, a double waterfall nestled high on the mountain. It is the site of the legend of the beautiful Native American princess, Pocono. According to legend, the princess leapt to her death from the upper falls after her father forbid her from marrying her true love. To this day, historians and storytellers cannot prove just how much of the story is true. One legend says that the princess still haunts the falls, and the spirit of the mist will appear on bright sunny mornings, hoping to comfort below. Of the train at the hard bend in the river would be the location of the former hotel, the museum. Built in 18, the four-story luxury hotel was highlighted in the world.
Oh, Interlaken.
Boasting 47 elegant rooms as well as dining areas, tennis courts, and deep swimming. Next to the hotel is the destroyed the hotel. As we are now traveling through
Signal 124N. I know this path goes up to Whitehaven. That Jeep is giving it a good pull.
Lehigh Gorge State Park, its history of natural beauty, has been through much growth over the last few centuries. 6,107-acre park stretches from the Franklin Seawater Dam in Scranton. Thick vegetation, compound mountains, 20 miles of biking, rafting, and fishing. Lehigh Gorge also offers outdoor.
If you like hiking and rail fanning this train, that's a great path to be on. I'm going to walk on it later and get a couple of run-bys of this train and the freight. Jointed rail and the clickety-clack of the wheels. There's the Lehigh River in all its glory.
Sitting to the left of the train is our destination. You will see a very small waterfall.
Past milepost 126.
Small stream.
They say that's the mileage from Reading Terminal in Philadelphia.
Large rocks side of the river along the side.
Okay, we're coming up to Penn Haven.
Old Penn Haven, also known as Penn Haven Junction, is one of the most desolate spots along the rail. Located about 7 miles north of Scranton, 5 miles east of Rutherford. The wide area that we are passing through was most an important location in the canal system made of the railroad. At one time, this junction was the intersection for the canal and 5 rail lines, including the Beaver Meadow and Hazelton lanes. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, the small railroading community thrived in the area and was only accessible by foot, boat, or rail. And not a phrase of that community remains today. Once the train comes to a complete stop, passengers seated in the standard coach may get out of your seat and either push or pull the middle of the seat back to change its position for the return trip to Jim Thorpe. If you need assistance, one of our car hosts will be more than happy to assist you.
This is a very busy railroad. These tracks will go as far as Buffalo, New York. This company moves a lot of freight. We move most of our freight in the early evening and then through the night. Last year we moved over 34,000 carloads of freight. Those tracks over there are owned by Norfolk Southern. They go to Toronto, Canada. They run all freight. This is something we just do during the day. Now, most times we run, you can put your bicycle on this train. You got to buy a ticket for yourself, naturally. Then you buy a ticket for your bicycle, which costs $5. Although we don't do it in October. We're about 7 miles from Jim Thorpe. This is where we would drop you off along with your bicycle, and then most people pedal back 7 miles downhill to Jim
I could handle
Thorpe.
that.
It's a nice, easy ride.
Yeah.
In addition to this train, one weekend a month beginning in April and right through to November, but again, not in October, we run a specific bike train. Very popular. 2 trips on Saturday, 2 trips on Sunday. 9:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m.
Here's the old C&J tunnel. Right there. See it? It's an old railroad tunnel for the C&J. You can see the bridge abutments. Trains got too big and they had to abandon it. Well, this track right here is used by Norfolk Southern. The old Conrail ALCG trains used to run on this. Allentown to Corning. Conrail Lehigh line. We're going to leave that right here. Okay, right here, crossing over the river, you'll see the new bridge that the Reading and Northern built to allow the NRFF to access the Lehigh line without going to Jim Thorpe. There it is right there. Hope to see the NRFF later this afternoon. Get a good look at it. They used to turn the 2102 on that bridge when they ran the fan trips. Track way over there on the edge is the Reading and Northern Main Line to Reading Outer Station. Here's an old switch tower. This is Nesquehoning Junction, where we join up with the main from North Reading. There it is right there. That's the line the steam trains take to get from North Reading to here. Nesquehoning Junction is the name of the junction. That heads down to Nesquehoning, Tamaqua, and on into Reading Outer Station. There's a map. Pretty much ran up this way. Now we're pretty much coming back down to here. And this is the main that the steam trains take. Almost at Jim Thorpe now. There we got a SD40-2 and it looks like maybe an SW1500. There's the turntable.
We would like to thank you for that.
Most thrilling ride.
Time getting off the train, and remember to hold on to the introduction step. For more information about our train, check the schedules. www.psrfly.com. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your time in the historic town of Pocono. Take in all it has to offer.
It's got a lot to offer. Train will stop and the engineer will blow the horn once. Safe to the train. Beautiful. here's our engineer on this Gorge Scenic train. What's your name, sir?
Mike.
Mike, and did you work for a railroad before this?
I've been with the company for 24 and a half years.
Ah, this company?
Correct, Reading and Northern.
Oh, okay. So tell me a little bit about the engine that you ran today.
This 2013 is built in 1973 for the Southern Railway. Became Norfolk Southern property in 1982 with the merger. Ran high hood until, had a high nose on it until the early 2000s. It went through a rebuild program and they chopped the nose.
Admiralty
and
cab.
the Admiral cab configuration was put on.
Ah.
And the Reading and Northern bought it maybe about 3 years ago and got a fresh coat of green and yellow.
Looks great.
Yeah, it does.
Sounded good too. I rode on the train at 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay, excellent. You
I
enjoyed
love-
your ride up?
I love the sound of those 645s.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Wonderful sound.
Yeah, good deal. We got up, I think 8 of them total now. In
Oh.
various configurations. This is the only Admiral cab one.
Oh, okay.
Chopped nose, 3 of them. They were high hood when we got them.
So how
That's
fast?
nice.
How fast were you running there?
About 30 mile an hour on average, 25, 30 mile
Oh,
an hour
that
northbound,
sounds
and then
good.
the shove moved back to 15, 20 mile an hour.
All right, great. You got another trip at 3, another one at 4, and I think
Correct.
the freight train waits for you to come in.
They set the schedule that it gets through after our last trip of the day.
Okay, so probably if I'm in the gorge around 4:30 or so.
Yeah, you'll see
I'll
them
see it.
then. Yeah, as long as they're running it. They
All
usually
right.
try to run it daily, though.
All right, yeah, and they run on time, I notice.
Yeah, they try. They do make a very good effort at doing that, yes.
Well, Mike, I appreciate your ride and your expertise, and go EMD, go Phillies, go Eagles.
Yeah, that's right, sir. And throwing the Flyers and Sixers for good measure.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Thank you. Well, you met our cordial engineer on that Lehigh Gorge train. Nice guy, very informative, veteran of the railroad. You know, and this video is not just trains. The stars of the video are the foliage and the trains. And couldn't resist coming out here this week with the great weather that we're having Thursday and Friday this week. Reminds me of my 4th grade teacher. I think you were nicer than my 4th grade teacher.
Oh, right.
She was a beast. Oh my God. Coming out of Catholic school and a public school and having her, that was too much. Too much. That was the outer limits for me. Minutes to 3 on this gorgeous fall day. Going to cap off the day by walking along the Lehigh Gorge Trail north of Jim Thorpe and catch the Lehigh Gorge train 4 times. Out and back on the 3 o'clock, out and back on the 4 o'clock, and then the Reading and Northern's fast freight, the NRFF. He's time to pass through here after the last train back to Jim Thorpe passes the junction. Well, that's very comforting. Here he comes. I can hear that GP 38-2 roaring in the background. Yeah, that was Mike. How I wish this was a high-density railroad. Scenery is just awesome. Well, this actually is a high-density railroad sometimes. On the weekends in October, they run trains every hour all day long on the Lehigh Gorge trains. Here he comes, heading back to Jim Thorpe. Here comes the 4 o'clock train in this superb vista. Attaboy, Mike. And here comes the 4 o'clock train backing up for Jim Thorpe. I got 4:33. Stick around for a half hour and see if the freight train comes. Once he clears this gorge route, the freight should be cleared to run through it. Here comes the NRFF, 4:53. Right on time as usual, headed for Pittston, and he'll be coming back later this evening, and he'll be back in Reading Outer Station Yard before midnight. All right, today is Friday, October 21st, 2022. Another red letter day in Pennsylvania with beautiful, crystal clear, sunny skies, little nip in the air, what autumn is all about, and beautiful foliage. We're outside of Scranton. We're going to take a walk around Lake Scranton. Lake Scranton is a lake several miles uphill from Scranton to the east, and it has a hiking trail that's about 3 miles or so around it. And it's just a glorious day to walk on this. So let's take a look and see the scenic vistas that abound along the lake. Here you get a good glimpse of the lake, which looks like the water has receded somewhat. This is like a reservoir for the Scranton area, and they've had a dry summer and the water's gone down. This spot, I recall, at one time would have been underwater if I was standing here. At least I would have been up to my ankles in water. You can see what a beautiful sight this is. Looking west over the lake, it's a nippy 44 degrees here today, but that's fine. No heat, no humidity to worry about. Just a glistening day with beautiful scenery. Yeah, we're crossing over the dam here at the south end of the lake. You got a stunning view of the west shore of the lake, glistening in the morning sun here. Just a magical walk on a day like this. I'm on the west side of the lake heading back towards where I'm parked, but I still have a little ways to go yet. But every turn, there's a new vista. And I'm glad I came out here yesterday and today, because I think the weather next week overall won't be nearly as nice. So as soon as I saw the weather report earlier this week for these 2 days being beautiful, I had to jump at the chance to come out to this beautiful state of Pennsylvania and see this autumn splendor, which hasn't disappointed. I'm at the north end of the lake at like an observation point that hadn't been open until recently, so I never got this vista before, but we're going to pan out over the lake looking to the south. You'll see how such a broad expanse that is. Straight ahead, I was down at the far end, way down there in that open flat spot, that bridge. And walk back along this side to this spot. Almost back to the starting point as we look up, and this is Highway Pennsylvania Route 307. It's quite an interesting story about Scranton that involves this highway. I will explain later. Before Interstate 380 was built from the east, this is the only way you can get into Scranton from the east. Well, it's 11:30 in the morning and it's warmed up a little bit, 51 degrees. It's supposed to be in the 50s here in Scranton today. Well, from Highway 307, as we head back towards Scranton, get this superb view of Scranton, which clearly lies in a bowl. The only way you can get out of Scranton is up everywhere. And I was telling you about Highway 307, Pennsylvania Route 307, how it had figured into the city's history. Back in 1965, a banana truck driver coming from New York to deliver bananas to Scranton came down this hill on this road. His clutch failed. He went careening down the hill toward the city, traveling at speeds up to 100 miles an hour. He crashed and died instantly, and bananas were spread out all over the city. You can hear about this wreck from a ballad by Harry Chapin called 30,000 Pounds of Bananas. Gonna take a ride on this, on the Electric City Trolley. Listen to those pumps.
Like Media ends in the middle of State Street.
Oh, okay.
Sharon Hill goes to a wall, so they don't pay attention. Boom.
Well, I know about Media. I've ridden on that line even today with the Kawasaki cars. 40-year-old Kawasaki cars, which they're supposedly going to replace.
Yeah, if they're smart, they should keep them as long as they can because they're not going to get anything better. But anyway, yeah, so these are all double-ended. The way this works, well, this is sort of like an automatic. This is like when you go for brakes on this, you go directly to brakes instead of we call laps release and stuff. This was more like an automatic controller, 3 speeds. The car could go, at one point used to go 70 miles an hour. Ooh. Not anymore. We took a point out because there's no way we stay on the track.
Well, sometimes you move pretty good through that tunnel.
Yeah.
So.
But it's about half the speed what this could do. Also it has a dead man feature on it. This goes below 50. This will lock up.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 cautions. First of all, if the air pressure is too low, it'll lock up on that. Also, the operator has to at all times either push this down or push that down. That's the dead man feature. If you don't have either one on and you're running, kaboom! It goes in emergency.
It's like the way the LRR M3s are. You got to hold the handle down.
Well, they all do nowadays, but this was like the beginning of that, and also this was the windshield wiper.
Oh. What's the whistle sound like? Oh.
You try if you want to. And you want to hit the bell, you can hit that right there.
Okay. Oh, me blowing a whistle.
And the bell, this right here, you can hit that with your foot.
Oh, okay.
You gotta hit it real hard.
Okay.
About the size of a saucepan.
Big thrill for me. All right. That's Scranton Limited with the Lackawanna F3. Let's take a ride on the trolley.
I'm a volunteer. Some people have little clothes that big. Yeah. You want to ring the bell?
1931.
Built by J.G. Brill Company of Southwest Philadelphia for Philadelphia and Westchester Traction Company that ran right outside of Philadelphia from 69th Street Terminal to Media Sharon Hill Ardmore in Westchester. Westchester was such a long line. There was over an hour with the old equipment. With this car became 50 minutes. The reason being, this was a new design. Cars were mainly slow, not very comfortable before this because there was not much competition, but by 1931 they had to change their idea because they were losing ridership right and left because of the Depression and the automobile. This actually was a very good idea, kept them in business. The car was, first of all, was made of a new metal called aluminum. Could go a lot faster. This car used to go as fast as 70 miles an hour because it was a lot lighter. We're not doing that today.
Too bad.
We get to the first switch and goodbye. Also, the points been taken out on that. The car also was had different type of seating. What you're sitting in is called pleather. The fancy cars at that time had this. It's plastic and leather together, and so it was a lot more comfortable with wooden rattan seats. Also, this was a one-man fare operation car. The motorman was also the conductor. He collected the fares and ran the trolley, cut the payroll in half, which was very important during the Depression because a lot of streetcar companies went down and out of business because they had to pay for 2 people. They liked this car so much, what they did, they actually went to Bro and purchased some additional ones during the Depression, which they were ecstatic about because they gave them a discount. The car ran all the way up into the early 70s. By then, Bro had long disappeared, so they used this for a spare parts car to keep the other ones going until around 1978. They replaced them with newer cars from Japan. By then, only 2 lines remained, the Media and Sharon Hill, which still run to this day. This is a double-ended car, so there's controls at both ends because, as it is nowadays, same story, the end of the line is the end of the line. Media is very important. The motorman's awake because the track is in the middle of the street.
Still does.
Trolley cars also were noted for innovation. If you look down by the wall, down by the floor, you'll see a bunch of iron grates. What is in there is electric elements. This is the forerunner of A4 heaters that was put into the houses. The trolley was first. It even had a thermostat, which is in the middle. We have a light switch we can throw on the heat, and that controls it. And so eventually the houses ended up with electric heat. The ad cards above you are not originals. They are copies of the original. Museums had the originals. They got together. They had reprints made. Some of these are still around, like Wrigley's. Most of them are not. The price is no way. You're not going to get silver for 10 cents. There are a couple famous ones here. If you look, anybody remember Hi-O Silver? Right here. It was on WOR radio every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7:30. WOR now. Also, there was a famous election back in the 40s. Dewey and Warren. The election was so close that when the public went to bed, Dewey was winning, so the newspaper put up Dewey wins. When the public woke up in the morning, Truman won. So Truman held up the papers that Dewey wins.
As he should have.
Round trip, so along the way, things you will see. There's an old abandoned coal mine we'll go by. We'll tell you a little bit about it. We'll go through the gorge area of Scranton. Beautiful scenic spot. A mile-long tunnel. That's the feature of the trip. 2.5 miles of woods. And then the ride ends all the way up at the baseball stadium. That's where our restoration shop is. And once we get stopped there, if you like, you can come in for a couple of minutes. We have a little viewing area. You can see the rest of our trolley cars. And the whole trip is about 50-55 minutes. And like Steve told you, this car is 91 years old. We're good back here, Steve, if you'd like to close up. And we are all secure. So hang on to your nickels, everybody. Here we go. We're off.
Okay, Bill Murray. I mean, Jimmy. Definitely reminds me of a young Bill Murray. Steamtown Mall. And you get to see the Scranton Limited backing down the hill with its F3. There he is.
Yep. Oh, I remember those.
See that later. They did some tree cutting here. Parts of the ride going down, but the whole ride coming back and trying to shoot out the front window.
in this building up until 1950. Then it became an Army ammunition plant, and that's what it is today, run by General Dynamics. That's why you see all the security around it.
They got a flag, 2 crossings. Used to be the Lackawanna train depot. Stayed there on my 25th wedding anniversary. Stayed in the presidential suite. Nice. Covered Hoppers, Delaware Lackawanna switches this. They run on this line pretty much at night only.
Coal mine. That's where the men used to enter. A very old mine, closed in 1900. The railroad we're traveling on, the lower line, was built here in 1903. #1 industry, one of the richest anthracite coal fields in the world. And our last operating coal mine closed here in 1967. We do not mine anthracite coal here anymore. And today that coal mine is the Lackawanna County Coal Mine Tour up at McDade Park, if you ever get a chance to take it. Very educational. You get to go 300 feet underground and actually see how the men used to mine anthracite coal. Now we're going to head around the corner, and on the left you're going to see a beautiful view coming up the gorge area of the city.
Tunnel time. Relatively fast through this tunnel. This reminds me of riding on the Long Island Railroad MP54s going through the East River tunnels in the Penn Station. You had these type of lights to rely on to see things. We went on field trips with the MP54s into Manhattan as a kid. And the conductor would jokingly turn off all the lights when we were in the tunnel. Everybody be screaming, deafening screams. Almost reminds me of riding on an MP54 with the sound that it makes. Although the MP54's traction motors were louder. these cars were in regular service on the Red Arrow lines, they didn't go through any tunnels like this. I don't think they went through any tunnels, period. Coming out. I don't think anyone will confuse that horn with a K5 LLA. This area is South Scranton. Going through the woods. Nice color in the woods here. Montage Mountain. Like a bad toothache. That's what these cars sounded like years ago. If I had a YouTube channel back in the days when these things were running big time, I probably would be crying every day. But then again, if those were the only horns you heard back then, it's all relative. I probably would have thought of, they would be awesome. Climbing up a steep grade to the end where the Yankees have a minor league baseball team play at the ballpark here. Got to put the pole up to go back.
Cars in this building, only 2 operate. The car, of course, that you're on. Yep, 91 years old. And the car you see in front of you, this is trolley car 76, a little bit older. This one is 96 years old. That's our second operating car. It's an unusual car, but it's what we call a center door loading car. You load right in the center of it. Always required 2 men, a motorman, and a conductor. And again, this one is 96 years old. It came out in 1926. In the car you're on 1931 to actually replace this style. That's strictly a one-man car out there, so he can do everything. He was the motorman and he was the conductor. The rest of the cars in here, again, they're all Philadelphia cars. They're from their collection of Buckingham Valley Trolley Association, just a bunch of men that love trolley cars in Philadelphia. They saved them and they donated these cars to us here in Scranton. So that's why we got Philadelphia cars. Yep. Simple was getting rid of them and they saved all these cars. Come on in here in the Electric City Trolley. It started from the very simple fact that Scranton was the first city to successfully run an electric streetcar system. They were given the credit for the invention of the trolley car, 1886, and the city got its nickname because of that. And then for us, we started 1999, the museum was built. 2001, the ride started. We just kind of grew and grew and grew until we got a destination. You're in Lackawanna County. The county owns everything. The railroad, this building, the trolley cars, the baseball stadium. And they want to tie it all together. This is the way everyone went to baseball games back in the day. The automobile wasn't invented yet. You walked, you took the trolley car. All the ballparks were built on trolley lines, financed by trolley companies. So baseball trolleys, forever linked in history. And we honor that tradition on Sundays when the rail riders are home. The 1 o'clock game, always our 12 o'clock trip. It's the only ballpark in the country you can go to a game on a 96-year-old trolley car. So you can make it unique and special all summer long when the riders are home. So thank you very much for coming in for a couple minutes. You can take as much time as you like to look at some of the artifacts. And
Pretty much have ridden on these cars over the years. There's the 76 on the right that you saw through the window in the shop. There's the car we're riding on, the number 80.
That goes from Virginia all the way to the Thousand Islands.
Oh yeah, been on it. Goes over the bridge into Ontario.
Yep. And you need a passport.
I remember one time I was coming back and it said, traffic delayed 2 hours.
This has a safety feature on it. It'll lock up, it won't go.
Okay.
Also, if I don't do hold this down or put my foot on the dead man, this will go in emergency.
Okay.
So it's called a safety car.
Yes.
Cars before this, a lot of them didn't. So, if you say something happened to the motor, it'll just keep going.
Okay, so the electric motors on it don't slow it down.
No,
But there's no power to it.
What happens, it'll coast, but you still need the brakes to stop.
Right.
Unless you're going to go uphill a ways,
Right,
and then it'll slow down.
Now the motors we hear underneath the car, that are those the traction motors or the
Yes.
gears?
Traction motors.
Oh, okay. Sometimes gears will make those kind of
Yeah.
noises too.
Well,
So,
in the motors themselves, there's gears connected to the shaft, so the axles.
It's a nice sound.
so you got,
So you see smoke.
yeah.
You do it without the smoke, I guess.
Triple A.
Triple A, okay.
Triple A Motor Club. What the heck's the difference between Triple A and Double A? I don't know. A?
Just step up.
Or down? I love when they were originally planning when they were going to build the new Yankee Stadium. They were going to build it by the Lincoln Tunnel.
Oh God.
What the Klan said, oh, well, traffic's not so bad at night.
Well, it's Center City anyway.
Somebody told us that traffic's always bad at Lincoln Tunnel.
Oh, it's terrible.
They have peak and off peak, believe it or not. Guess what time peak off peak is? 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. There's different rates on the easy pass. Their easy pass is cheaper, like 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. Oh, and that's every day. So even weekends, the same story. So it's peak all day on Monday, on Saturday and Sunday till 1 a.m.
Yeah, I may have to drive through that with a U-Haul on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because I can't use the parkway with commercial plates.
Well. Philadelphia, there's a fight going on about going to put a stadium in Chinatown again. Battle going on about that. I mean, it's ridiculous what they can do in downtown. Bright enough. So to be able to run, they had to get the temperature for it. So this track here on the left continues on the Wilkes-Barre. What happens is right across that road changes county from Lycoming County from Lackawanna County to Luzerne County.
Well, the ballpark is in Luzerne County?
The ballpark's in Lackawanna County.
Oh, so you
But the track there, once you cross that road, goes into And he used to have the amusement park. Rocky Glen was about a mile away from it.
Oh boy.
There was some talk of us going there. There's a lake still there, but the owner now has drained it. So kids were jumping in it. He used to have a $1 million roller coaster years ago. The park's now gone. But that was the trolley park for the Laurel. The line itself is right there. Down there, the right of way, right by the water. Okay. That's all abandoned. That point where the switchback is where the Laurel line splits away from this. They built this that connection up to the Erie so you could abandon everything else.
So that's switched by the DL at night, right? The switchback?
Switchback is where all the freight goes up to the plastic plant. It's called the Pocono division. To build that, what they did, they took the second track of the Laurel line and recycled it to build that.
Okay.
But once they shut the passenger service, they didn't need it anymore. All the third rail was scrapped, so they didn't need that. Never had overhead except in Wilkes-Barre. But they didn't allow third rail in Wilkes-Barre. This right here is the old line to Jersey City.
Oh yeah, that goes up to Port Jervis, I think.
Part of it's used, part of it's not. This only goes to Dunmore. Then he's missing, and then at Holmesdale, the Lackawanna is Sturbridge line. Then there's another piece missing, and then there's Port Jervis to instead of Jersey City, it goes to Hoboken. And the other way goes down to Wilkes-Barre, even though the great course.
Yeah.
But it's only out of service, it's not abandoned, so they can't put it back in. Right here, if you look real close, you'll see tracks going in the woods there. That's where the Laurel line is. Yeah, if you look right over there, you'll see the disconnected track. That's where the Laurel line went into the woods. That's the switchback going to Pocono.
Seen any bears?
We had wild turkeys the other day, the other week. Yeah.
Saw a bear on a previous trip.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The wild turkeys weren't big enough to eat. Too scrawny. This gives you what it looked like. This used to be when it was two tracks.
Yeah.
Except they had third rail.
there, but they gotta still do some more work on the track.
The color's nice.
Huh?
Color is still nice.
Yeah, not for long. It's heading down, so probably by next week will be about it. But after next week, we go on hiatus until the Thanksgiving weekend. This used to be a bridge for the lumber trucks. I think the second track was stored there. It came down. It used to log in here. That was before I 81.
How many Santa Claus trips do you run a day?
Most of them are 5, and then they got one day, it's one weekend, it's 6 or 7. Mighty charters 2 days. I think it's like the last weekend. And it's back and forth, back and forth.
How do these run in snow?
We don't run this if it's above 3 inches. Because we'll burn the motor too. If it gets into the motor, we got a big problem. That right up there, if you look up there, that's the old line that used to go up and over the mountain.
Oh, wow.
Built like that, it made in 1925. One problem was the tunnel cost $1 million to build. They never paid the bonds back. Matter of fact, that bankrupt the company by 1950s. The alternative route, one problem was the freight cars every so often came down on their own. Which was not very good. It actually sort of follows, it comes over and follows it, but it got, part of it's been cut off when they built I-81. Shows you how high it was to get up to the top.
Yeah, there it is, 81. Yep, drove over that a little while ago.
Huh?
Drove over that a little while ago.
Well, they just worked on all the bridges on that recently around here. So it's a big project.
Yeah, I love the Harrison Bridge.
This here, we had a little problem a while ago. The whole hill came down.
Oh, I see that, yeah.
They're going to have to do work on it again. And they replaced some timbers recently, but now the darn burners are starting to come down. Give you an idea what happens with floods. See all this on the right that's piled up?
Yeah.
That all got in there.
Oh, boy.
They had to pull that out. That was a cute little creek, yeah. Oh, there's the cat again. Oh, he's going on. Okay, he's got a hunter business going on.
It's hard to run over a cat.
We got kamikaze squirrels.
Yeah.
We've got deer all follow along like on the side all the time. Right across. curve is under that street, but we go all the way under. Well, here goes the squirrel again.
Yeah.
There we go. So the cars on the left are actually from the ammunition plant. They're going there. There's Egan's in it, long Egan's in it. They make the shell. The other cars that want to go to the place are coming in. The blue building here is the Laureline, used to be Laureline shop. Now it's a small place company. They make decking like the big company does, but on a smaller scale.
This is all switched probably in the wee hours of the morning.
Actually, we don't on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so they'll do some of that work. Or actually, they'll do it like early. We don't have the railroad till 10 o'clock, so they get to be out here until 10, and then they gotta wrap it up. It's usually 2 days a week. They recently redid the yard. They redid the track. Usually 5 tracks in the yard or 4. The passenger section went up the hill there, and this was their freight connection. That's when we passed the breakout. And up there on top is the Scranton Historical Society, that old building up there by the signals. That don't work.
Okay, yeah. Passing by my granddaughter's school.
They come out and cut the grant, but that's about it. We used to have a guided tour with that.
There's the old Lackawanna shops. Find the flag.
So if we hook this power into this, what will happen? Go faster? We got electricians out there doing something in there. I don't think so.
As long as it doesn't affect us.
Yeah, we don't need that.
What is he?
Flagging.
Trying to stop the traffic. Sometimes they don't be. The building on top of the hill on the right here is the old switching tower for the train depot. The roof is made of terracotta tile, and underneath the rest of it's concrete. The Park Service restored this a few years ago, minus the switching equipment. No more switching. And believe it or not, we have a trolley in there. That was our original car park. We have one in there, Stratford car, pump down one's a Blue Moon. The problem with that car is 1 day out here with that car equals a month from this car power-wise. So, yeah, the meter goes clean right off the cliff. And our substation is train building right here. That changes the regular electric into DC electric. And the column here, DL and W, is Delaware, Lackawanna, and Westbrook. That's the official name of the railroad, the Lackawanna Railroad.
And they built structures to last.
Yep.
Stations, towers, vessels. I guess they never thought about putting lights or flashers on these crossings.
No, first of all, it's expensive, and the problem is the clearance and visibility. So I don't think they would ever do it. In the county, we have to foot the bill. We're under the county. So. The one at Glenmore, we need it because that's impossible to get through. But the other ones can be flagged through. So. Oh, he's at the end of the line.
He's on his way out.
He's only going up the. He only goes up the hill. That's the.
Yeah. Well, I heard they're running trips up to Toby Han and the Water Gap again.
They already did. The Water Gap was sold out for a month. The only problem is they only got 4 coaches operable.
Oh, that's.
We got all these coaches in New York, but they're not working on the things. I mean, even these electric ones here, they can fix them up.
The Lackawanna F3 blowing his horn.
Yeah. And that's not even their engine. Somebody else. I mean, I don't know why the steam isn't in it now.
I was here a month ago when it was running. So.
Yeah, so they run it off and on, so.
I was watching some Bednar videos of this area. This was loaded with Erie Lackawanna engines.
Oh, really?
Shot it back in the 70s. Busy place.
Yeah. Well, he used to have a lot more trip. The only steam engine is 26, and that's it. And that can't go very far. So.
One of the last rail fests I went to, I think it was 2016, they had 765 here.
Yeah, they had one this year and it was a bomb. They didn't do well at all. They didn't have anything special.
I don't know, they're just not as good as they used to be. Anyway, coming back.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Just in time to see the 230 Scranton Limited heading about the local area with the F3 from the Lackawanna Railroad. Like some kind of a Westinghouse, maybe an E2. Sound like the GG1 horns, but they were much louder. And here comes the Scranton Limited backing down. They'll eventually park over by Steamtown. Horn show between the trolley and the F unit. I think it's obvious who won that one. Yeah, here he comes again. I was just tipped off by a local fan that the Delaware Lackawanna job is coming down soon. PO 75 going to Scranton. Be nice to see that. He had 6 engines going up today with a lot of grain hoppers on it, headed for the grain mill at Pocono Summit.